Late Night Grin. Also, what does that name mean?
We're back, folks. Good evening. It feels like it's been a while since we just did like an episode of the Grin, the old-fashioned way, the Grin the way it used to be, the Grin the way you liked it. Don't worry about what that reference is. All right, never mind. We're here to preview another professional wrestling pay-per-view. We have 5 matches on the docket, of course. The Fed 4 back in action. Happy to be here. Overslept slightly. By overslept, I mean looked at the SmackDown lineup and decided I'd set my alarm later. And so I may be slightly weary, but I'll be here nonetheless to talk to my pals about the World Wrestling Federation expert panel as always. Bobby Two Shoes, a slight glare there coming back, like there's almost a horror effect you have for us. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing well. A little different setup this week. I'm in Chicago watching my parents' dog, who is down there. So if you hear any noises, it's from the dog. But yeah, there's a monitor behind me that I tried turning off, and it won't stay off. So
no, I like it.
Yeah, we're gonna go with this.
When you say if we hear any noises, where do we draw the line? Because you made a lot of noises then, but I think you were podcasting. That was you, wasn't it?
That's true. Yeah, if it's not me.
All right. But how will we know?
You just got to use your judgment, I think.
Okay. All right. That's never gone well in the past. All right. I like it. Good call, Bob. All right. The Oracle of Wrestling. I feel like you and I spend a lot of time with each other these days, but you're back again to talk about the WWF. How are you this evening?
I am. I'm good. There seems to be some sort of motorcycle race circuit going on.
Motor City?
On the road outside my apartment here. I don't know what seems to be going on. There's a lot of vrooming and zooming. But other than that, I'm good. Finished up SmackDown about a half hour ago. It's a fun show. I can already feel the weight lifted.
Yeah.
From because I'm not sure I'll ever turn on Rampage.
The weight lifted is incredible. That's what Tony said when he was told they weren't going to be renewing Rampage. I can already feel the weight lifted.
Did you notice that when I tweeted that a day later they announced the death of Rampage?
I did. It felt like a sign.
I killed it.
I'm definitely going to do a grin along for the last one. Leave the memories alone and things of that nature. They're always little pieces of history. And I've tweeted about this jokingly, but like if AEW indeed lives a long and healthy life the way it looks like it very well could, Rampage is totally going to have like a nostalgia run in 2050. And they're going to have the Butcher come out and wave at the fans and things of that nature. So there's things to look forward to. But until then, I'll see the finale. But yes, so it's a weight off your shoulders, Oracle, is what you're telling me.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
I will not, unfortunately, I won't be able to catch Bad Blood live tomorrow. There's a college football game on, and the show starts way too early.
It does.
Normally, it would be awesome, but, when your team's playing in the third or fourth quarter, when it begins, I'm just, whether we're getting our asses kicked or not, I'm not turning it on. So I will have to wait till about 10:30 Eastern time to begin my Bad Blood enjoyment. But nonetheless, I'm here tonight to talk about and discuss, hopefully, the return of the Razor, the real return of the Razor, not that little pinprick shit that Cody's been doing lately.
Pinprick shit.
I'm talking about coast to coast, poke twist all across. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm here to talk about that. That's the match that I want to talk about.
So, like, God forbid I do college football talk. Is their name Ole Miss? What is their name?
They are the University of Mississippi. They are nicknamed Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to take them seriously, you know? All right, good stuff. Chris Bordine back in the house, fed for fully form once more. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Who knew that all this time the Late Night Grin intro video was just a long play promo for the arrival of the Motor City Machine Guns?
Well, I did. I was aware it was a long con.
Me wearing this
That was quite a deal.
sweatshirt was purely coincidence, so that was
Yep.
nice. I didn't even see. I started SmackDown hour late. We took a family trip to a big Halloween skeleton thing.
God bless.
Yeah, it was cool. We were out by the now USA Hockey Arena, formerly Copyware Arena, home of Bound for Glory 2006.
My goodness. Contrarian Alex just suddenly looked around in excitement, doesn't know why.
So yeah, that was fun. Got a picture taken with some Ghostbusters cosplayers. So
Saw that, yeah.
yeah,
Saw that.
so my kid was all psyched for that. So got home and I saw online that they ran a vignette for the Machine Guns, and I'm pumped. Main roster Machine Guns, let's go, buddy.
It's exciting. I think they've benefit is a weird word, I guess, but I think this is a result of Ray Phoenix not coming in when intended, and things have moved around. I think they were supposed to be on NXT on Tuesday, and I would imagine without the Lucha Bros coming in, they've been, I guess, promoted would be the word. I don't know. I know that it's a third brand, guys, not developmental, I've been told, but kind of promoted.
Wow.
And I think they're best brand, which will be an interesting thing. Like the way they present them will be very. I don't know. It'll just be interesting, but I'm excited for them. I'm happy for them. They deserve it very, very much. Now, folks, we do need to warn you that before we went live here this evening, we had an explosion of audio, and we don't know what it was. We didn't figure out what it was. It just stopped. So I'm warning you, this is your opportunity now. If you're like driving and listening to this, if you're running and listening to this, you're doing anything that isn't just sitting still and listening to it, even if you're sitting still and listening to it, be wary of your volume, because at some point, and this is, I promise it's not like a horror movie bit we're doing here, there may just be an explosion, and then there may be 15 seconds we figure out what it is. So be on guard, hands higher.
Close encounters of the third kind type of stuff.
Yes.
We're gonna have to be careful.
Exactly right. So we have a couple of super chats here. Before we get to them, before we get to bad blood and things of that nature, Bob, I have a question for you, a very serious question.
What's up, pal?
What should folks do to that trusty like button down there?
Yes, smash that like button.
Also, what's a feature of old Mississippi, Bob?
I don't know what we're going for here.
You sure?
No.
All right.
Damn.
I assumed it was something problematic.
No, I mean,
I was just trying
probably,
to learn.
but
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say racism, but
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
I mean, yeah. If for being honest, yes, they didn't
Please
integrate
being honest.
very late compared to other teams. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I was just asking. I don't know. I assumed it would be something to that effect because the Bob part of the comment. But Cal sends a super chat. Thank you, Cal. We appreciate you. The AEW profile picture still in place after Julia lost to Roxy on Tuesday. Thank you, Cal. Says, watching the Queen of Villains, I've heard good things, and reinforcing my belief that in another time, Stratton and Suri are fated rivals running all these hills together. Yeah, the Suri thing is, I saw a clip the other day from when they brought her in and Regal was talking about like this, like how big of an acquisition she was and so on and so forth. And I mean, it's worked out better for the industry, right? Like she's having this incredible run right now. And I've seen a few of the bigger matches.
I am
but,
fully aware that
Mhm.
she is very much evidently a very good professional wrestler.
Yeah.
But and I'm someone who's pretty aware of everything else going on around the world, But her run in NXT 2.0 destroyed her for me, and
Yeah.
it's not her fault.
It's not for no.
It's just anytime I hear a name, I just think of the princess gimmick or whatever,
Which
fairy
is-
gimmick, whatever they
yeah,
give
it's
her.
brutal.
It's
The
terrible.
worst possible time for her to be in NXT. But it worked out to wrestling's benefit because I think it's better that she's out and doing her thing, and she's obviously been huge for the start of Marigold, and she's done her own shows, which are fucking awesome. So it's been good for wrestling. I don't know how that reflects on her paycheck. I don't know, not my business. I'm sure the NXT number wasn't exactly, making her a millionaire. So it works out, but I do wonder if eventually they try and right that wrong. Before I go any further, that isn't me saying I want them to or care. I'm saying, I could see them wanting to do that. The regime, I mean. We shall see. Thank you for support, Cal, and I hope you enjoyed Queen of Villains. I've heard good things. I've yet to have time. My letterbox has really just died a death. Let alone TV shows. I don't really watch movies now, Oracle. It's really gone poorly. This LNG Gold thing is. I can't watch film anymore, dude. I'm out of time. I have to watch. I have to study on Big Bubba versus John Tenter.
Yeah.
It's a different time in my life. All right. Shout out to Suri and Cal. Showtown Spurs. Smart of WWE to move this an hour earlier. Don't want to go against Beef's Collision debut. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I saw. Did you guys see Dave? Shout out Dave. Did you guys see this? I've seen it, Chris. I don't know if you saw this, but
Sadly,
Dave posted the Collision spoilers, and I don't think this is really a spoiler, so I'll just say it. And he said Wheeler Yuta defeated Beef, and then he had brackets formerly JD Drake, because I guess Dave has somehow concluded that this is like a new gimmick for JD Drake, and he's got just to go with it, and yeah, it's got the grey out.
So
Wow.
funny thing about that collision, I was wanting to go. I was actually wanting to pull off a Rick Rude situation where I would be at Collision, but also like maybe popping on the watch along here for Bad Blood and be in two places at once. And they were advertising like $10 tickets in that, but they refused to announce anything. So I'm like, I'm not going. And then I saw the rundown. I'm like, yeah, no, I probably made the right decision.
It's weird. Like, I had a couple people I knew were there, and they said it was a fun show, but like on paper, it looked insane. Like it looked like a sort of super, not even super, just like a 2-hour rampage. Hopefully, with the new deal, I'm not even going to do that bit. I think Collision's going to be what it's going to be. I think it's pretty obvious they want another show now to be new Collision, and Collision will be new Rampage. So that will all work out. However, it's going to work out. But apparently the show was fun, so what do I know? But shout out to Beef and JD Drake. I want to talk about Dave Meltzer's star ratings. I'm sorry I do this again, but I just quickly. Because everyone focused on the Britt Baker DMD match. But what was missed in this was that last week on SmackDown, the main event was Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And I liked this match. But this match was like the kind of match that closed Raw for like every week for 10 years. It was like there was nothing to this match that was out of the ordinary. I think Tape gave it like 2.5. I gave it like 3 stars. And I was like, that was fun. Dave gave it 4.25. And like, I read it like 5 times and was just pondering it, because this match had Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa. If anyone would have seen the classic, it would have been me. He came in at 4.25. He gave it half a star more than the Andy and Melo match. I mean, he's prolific right now, Bobby. What do you make of it?
He's definitely on an interesting run at the moment. I know the Brit match got the same as Punk and Joe, or it got more stars than Punk and Joe actually. So that was, I mean, yeah, that's
more.
Speaking of star ratings, there's a friend of ours, of the show, Ibu, who had an exchange with someone.
This one
gave who said if CM Punk and Drew McIntyre goes 4.25, people are going to be, by God, that'll show them that they're wrong. 4.25.
It was so good, right?
It's a great match. If that shit goes 4.25, we're fucking celebrating.
Yeah.
What the hell are they talking about? Like,
I know it's just the whole thing's fucked now. Like, and it happens like when I saw he went 4.25 on Brian and Okada, I read that as like Dave thought that match sucked. Like that's the way that my brain now operates. It's broken. I don't know.
Oh, man.
3.5, man. That's just some 3.5 that I love. Dude. Like 3.5 is a really good rating.
3.5 is like
7 out of 10, bro.
there's no 3.5 rules.
Yeah, especially a TV as well. TV matches, 3.5 is great.
But by God,
Um,
if Phil and Drew go 4.25, that's just shameful.
Yeah,
I mean, how could they go so low?
yeah, fascinating, really.
Don't get it at all. It's psychotic.
Why is Bob in this? For those of you listening, Plethora said, playing into the temperature check bit, Plethora said, I'm just glad Bobby and Joe can finally talk about hot promotion. And this is awesome because it implies that Bob has talked about any other promotion on this platform for the last 2 years. Bob, your thoughts?
Yeah, it is nice to finally talk about a hot promotion, I guess. So
I guess so. All right, we'll do our temperature check in a moment. He was getting very excited. He says,
It's fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact, brother.
He says, Raw is the land of beautifully packaged and presented 3.5. Beautifully packaged and presented. Listen to this guy. All right, that works for me. I mean, I'll get ahead on this temperature check thing. So we got a lot of time here. Fuck it, I'll waste some time on this. So AJ Styles' video thing run last week, and it had that really funny, like, slow version of his new theme. And I was like, I could ramp up the SmackDown bit now. And I fully intended to until, like, today in the afternoon, and I just went, oh, I'm not going to watch it. And I'm thinking about this a lot, and I'm going to use this time, because we have 5 matches to talk about, to explore it. Am I fucked or is it over? Like, which one is it for me? Is it am I just fucked and need to get off the road for a bit, or am I washed entirely? Like, this is exclusively to you. I like wrestling a lot. I watch a lot of wrestling. I think, in fact, I'm watching more wrestling now than I ever have. But I have specifically developed a roadblock with TV wrestling.
yeah,
And I really struggle to watch TV wrestling, and I'm worried. And I'm going to use this. Oracle and Chris, feel free to chip in. But first, I'd like to go to my lead therapist, Robert O'Neill. Bob, is it over for me? What do you think?
no, I think it just the TV in particular. They're trying to cater to everyone, so it's a lot of stuff that not everyone likes because they're trying to fit all these segments of the audience, and it just. I don't know, you could argue that wrestling's not meant to be consumed 52 weeks a year as well. I think there's a strong argument for that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's like a reflection of the shows being bad, because I don't think they are bad. I just think they're so there's not a lot of different styles to me to the TV nowadays. It's just a lot of it's the same. They're very different in that one of them is like patient to a fault in WWE, and you can kind of just follow along very loosely. And the other one is you don't know what they're going to do. They booked Carter and Bryan on a weird one
WWE trying to make here's the thing. I from a standpoint of we want to make the matches on our TV we want to have these pay-per-view caliber matches on our TV so people will watch it and give you a reason to watch the TV. But I don't know. It feels like a way, because of the way it's booked in a patient, very deliberate, methodical way. I don't know. I still think you might be better off. I don't know. This is just an opinion. Plus, I just missed 7, 8, 9 match pay-per-view cards. I'm just gonna be straight up honest about it.
Right.
It's why don't you just put 8 or 9 matches on the pay-per-views and
I agree.
That's more likely people are going to watch those. But it's not to say that people aren't watching the 5-match shows and not enjoying them.
That's the thing. I think it does. It works. I think for what they currently have set up.
Yeah, it works. I think it does work because people are obviously still watching and enjoying those shows. It's just for my personal taste. I mean, I honestly this sounds for my health and well-being and all that stuff. In 2025, I'm already going to slow down after I've dropped off on this dumb gimmick that I started at the beginning of the year. But in 2025, I'm going to change. I feel like it'd be best to try to change the way I watch wrestling.
Oh shit! You can go rehab. I've been a couple times, bro. It's tough. You
I just
You have to,
there's
like-
so much stuff going on now with the two companies and these TV deals and like 3-hour Raws and SmackDown rumors and shit, and like I can't do that, man. I can't do that shit. Like I'm just gonna have to use a DVR and just like I mean I don't know, man. Like I, do I really need to like watch it? That Pure Fusion Collective tag. You know what I mean? I
Right.
really have to start weighing these things.
Well,
It's
like,
important, man.
this is going to get into. So we're going to preview Bad Blood eventually. But so the reason I think this is interesting is I think we all like wrestling, apparently. And you want to actually enjoy it. You don't want to just watch it to be like completionist, which is why your project terrified me. And I think you did
I can't believe I
admirably.
made it 9 months. That's
Yeah, you did
impressive,
very
really.
well. Very, very well to make it that far. So, like, I haven't got a problem with that. Like, I've enjoyed wrestling a lot more, being selective and picking out stuff. And part of why LNG Gold is now my main thing is so that I can kind of build a thing where like I can cover what I want to cover, so I don't have to review Raw or Dynamite or whatever. But at the same time,
I'm laughing at Jake calling this a segment like we're
this is sincere therapy. What I'm asking is like, and chat, feel free to chip in on this. Like, I just think TV wrestling isn't doing it for me right now. I can't get myself to actually commit to watching every week. I don't know. I have no point here. This is literally just the thing I'm saying.
As Bob pointed out, there's 52 weeks in a year, and there's also 52 hours in a wrestling week in a year. In a week. So I mean, the fact that you don't, that you choose not to tune in frequently is. I don't think it's an indictment on you so much as it is an indictment on the content. Is everything sort of
maybe,
and you feel like, and it's funny because like I don't know, I'm like this, and I think you're less like me in the sense of like, but you also feel like you kind of have to have an idea of what's going on,
right?
So
That's the only thing
when you have because you feel like you should know and like watch everything part of it. I think.
Yeah.
And then you realize, wait a minute, this is like psychotic behavior. Why would anyone watch all this?
The other
shit?
thing is, I want to watch more than just like the TV, because a big part of my wrestling enjoyment is being able to just pick out stuff. Like, I love the match review shows have been great because it's given me a motivation to like, okay, I can actually, without just burning my own time on stuff, I could actually watch this. This Stardom match or this Marigold match or whatever it may be, or even I reviewed a CMLL match last week, and I like watching that stuff. I also like watching old stuff, and so with that, the more you focus on wrestling TV, the less time you have to pop yourself for those other things, right? Like, which is where you learn about wrestling a lot. Like dropping yourself in. Like earlier this week, I watched No Way Out 2001 earlier this week. I mentioned this on one of the 100 shows we did this week. And that's LNG Oracle, right? And it was great because I hadn't seen the show in full. Now, if I had to, because if I was still doing like, WrestlePress at the level I was doing it or whatever else, if I had to watch Raw and Dynamite or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to do that. That would have been less fun for me. I would have liked wrestling less because of it. So it's a unique beast. I don't really know what I'm saying here. But I like wrestling, I think is my point. And I may be washed. I think that's the conclusion. Is there anything else on this before we preview a wrestling pay-per-view?
Well,
anything else?
No, not really.
All right. Tremendous. Super chats. Ray says the commercials are absolutely killing TV wrestling for me, especially in the Fed. I hope Netflix alleviates the issue even a little bit. That would be very useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
The TV breaks. That CW premiere I get because it's broadcast, and it's kind of the same problem they had on Fox.
My dream scenario for Netflix, and they won't do it, is that like one week they might just go 1 hour and 37 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Another week they might go 2 hours and 11 minutes. 1 week they might go 1 hour and 22 minutes. Like, that's actually my dream scenario, but they won't do that.
Wait, was there sound?
I didn't hear anything.
No, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear it the first time either.
Are the chat doing a bit? All right, everyone be quiet. The chat said, oh, fuck, what was that noise? Then there was talk of an explosion. I didn't even
Was that
hear
me
anything.
yelling into the microphone? Is it my mic?
Was it Bob? Was it the dog, Bob?
No, she's sleeping.
She's sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, calm down here. All right, we'll circle back, folks. Please keep us live reports in the chat.
Let's
yes.
Let's remember that I'm very violent with my mic, and I sort of wave it around wildly as if it's some sort of weapon and hit it profusely and all sorts of things. So, it's always possible that I smashed it there, but I feel like Joe would have made some sort of remarkable comment if
the new allegation
he usually does.
The new allegation is that our chat is actually washed and cooked. That's the actual problem. It's not us, which I can work with that.
Yeah. It's just weird that multiple people heard it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think those multiple people should do for the like button, Bob?
Yeah, smash that like button.
So anyway, as I was telling you about wrestling, and did you see the NXT program did a very good rating, Bob? Would you like to do your rating? So I know you've been very motivated to bust out a rating segment each week.
No, I'm good. That was a crazy number. I also didn't think the show was that good after the opener, but people seemed to have fun, and I didn't really miss anything by not going. So good stuff.
Rave review. Good stuff was the conclusion there. For those of you that missed it. Okay, tremendous stuff. Right, we have another one. Thank you to Ray for that, by the way. We have a couple from Ibu here. He's a real piece of shit. And he says, quote, Kazuchika Okada, as well as Hey Joe, Jay versus Braun or Kaz versus Brian. Well, I went 3.5 on the latter, and 3 3/4 on the Jay Braun Breaker match. So you can do the maths on that one. 3.5 was I was being polite and being respectful to the mechanical, technical work on display. But those, I can't really lie about the Okada Bryan match because I was literally on the air watching it. I nearly died in the middle of that match. Like
Okada,
I straight fell asleep.
Walking around like he's taking a
so
stroll.
did Ibu. Ibu fell asleep twice during the match.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If you're like really invested, you can. It's like, people say like it's hypocritical with Randall, and it's like, yes, it is hypocritical. It's absolutely hypocritical. It's just that I care about Randy enough to pretend I'm interested during him walking around arranging steel steps for half an hour. It weren't for me, dude. Like, it weren't for me strong. It was a good wrestling match, and the last 10 minutes were really good, but the slow burn that came before it was kind of crazy. This is a good point. Bob, you missed free pizza.
I did. That was unfortunate.
All right, man. PlayStation Plus subscribers, your time is now. Grab hashtag WWE 2K24, now part of the PlayStation Plus monthly games for October. All right. Bad Blood is our focus today, and we will be talking about this card that has got 5 matches and has had some controversy surrounding its main event. That has now been settled. They've made it clear to everyone who has sources. Please tell the fans what is opening and closing the show so we don't have to debate this on Saturday night, which I respect and appreciate. Official leaks, Bob, are a real thing right now, right? You get these they're like statements almost via Mike Johnson. And with that in mind, I think we'll just we'll avoid that as a whole topic because at this point everyone said their piece online and such, and we'll instead lead, as we always should, with a good old-fashioned temperature check. So with that in mind, Bob O'Neill, where is your current interest at on the World Wrestling Federation?
It's there. I thought SmackDown was actually a lot of fun tonight. Raw is tough because it's 3 hours and also football's on. Usually there's 2 football games on during Raw now, so it's like, you got to focus on that. Really excited for the 2-hour Raws, though. I think that'll be great. I'm pretty excited for this show as well. So I would say I'm feeling pretty good about the World Wrestling Federation at the moment.
Love to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Fired up to hear it. Chris Bourdon, where you at? Where's your interest levels at as of right now?
I'm psyched for the show tomorrow. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. I'm loving pretty much everything with a few exceptions here and there. It was nice. Normally I do watch Raw live. This week the Lions were on Monday Night Football, so I did not. So I was able to fast forward the aforementioned Pure Fusion Collective stuff on Raw this week. So that was fun. But yeah, even I think Raw's really good right now with the Braun and the Bronson Reed stuff.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that new that pop of color on the IC title, it's still like my of the three modern IC title designs, it's still like comfortably number 3, but adding that blue to it just makes it a whole lot better. So
yeah, it looks nice.
Yeet.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm definitely glad to hear it. And I think it will be a very, very strong show. When we get to the main event, I think we should probably talk about what appears to have been a shift in direction regarding War Games, to my eye anyway. We'll talk about that to close tonight's program. Lord Oracle, you kind of took part in my own temperature check, but anything you'd like to add in terms of where you stand on the WWE?
I mean, WWF has been pretty good. Raw is consistently good. SmackDown consistently over delivers, but it never looks good on paper. Don't really care for NXT. I don't know. I should probably answer that Ebu question. That was a super chat, I think, or something of that nature, some gimmick of some time.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. The reason I jumped there is because I didn't want to.
You're fine.
Because it's kind
Don't
of
worry.
related to the topic.
I've got everything under control. I definitely didn't miss it. Don't worry about it.
Gotcha. But I'm sorry. I overate. Now have that gimmick where your heart races after you overeat.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this show. I'm very happy for a friend of mine at work who's going to be there live. I wish I could have gone, but football and things of that nature. Yeah. But I'm kind of at the point now where, and this happens pretty often in the fall. They're doing a good job, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like waiting for Mania season now, even though it's like early October.
Yeah.
Because it's just that football, like, I don't know, football in the States is, such an addictive drug.
Football on.
Yeah. Football on is a serious matter.
It is.
I think Chris and Bobby would agree. Football on does certainly affect things, and also again with the sort of methodical approach and stuff, WWE.
Okada.
Like, I mean, how many more Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley matches do we have to see?
I think you got a couple left.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, it's interesting. I actually think, putting aside my prior segment about me being washed, I actually think WWE TV has been considerably stronger post the SummerSlam. And the crowds have been really, really strong. I think they're in a good spot here going into War Games and such. The War Games is not something that I really look forward to on the calendar anymore, but I do think that the Bloodline business has a very intriguing hook. Again, we'll get there. Beyond that, I'm ready for Punk to move on to Gunther. But that doesn't mean I'm not excited for the match. I'm just ready, for it to be over. It's been a long run, right? They've been feuding for legitimately 9 months. So I'm ready for it to end, even though I think it's been well done. I'm excited for the match tomorrow, the Hell in a Cell match, which has got big expectations surrounding it, it must be said. So we'll see kind of how that goes. Indeed. For those of you listening, Oracle just motioned I believe they call it a blade job in the industry. Bob, you ever done a blade job?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Never saving it for the LNG live show.
Mm-hmm.
Do it off like a Doc Gallows big boot. Bobby takes a flat back and runs the blade. So I'm into that. Beyond that, those two central stories, which is not a criticism because the two main stories, I mean, that's what you want people to be interested in. There's not a ton that I'm personally like hooked by, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I just don't maybe have missed it. I mean, maybe I've missed the nuance or detail to some of it. But I think the shows have been better from what I've seen. Need a little bit more Uncle Howdy. If you could switch out the Pure Fusion Collective with Fatal Influence, the shows would be better considerably.
Right.
But I mean, imagine if EO was her hot tag was being fed by JC Jane rather than whoever it is right now.
Hey, he's always starts good.
She is, but in the ratio of like good to making people respond, she's got to get one.
Like, below crickets. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mind that, but like, good God, man, it's she's really struggling to get response. I read Tape's review of was it Lyra and Zoe?
Lyra and Zoe, yeah.
And he was you could tell in the review that Tape was like upset with how little the people cared. He was like, man, this ain't working. They're just wrestling in silence. And he liked the match, so he's not burying it. That's been an issue, hasn't it? Like that mid card in the women's division on Raw, especially. It seems like Chelsea and Mia.
Oh, Chelsea! Oh, yeah, that feud got very over. But Chelsea Green is an exceptional talent in terms of knowing her role in the environment she's in. So
yes. For sure, yeah, she's been very, very useful in that regard. The Pure Fusion Collective feels like kind of, like an attempt to help the mid card. I don't know if it seems to be having that effect based on your initial responses, fellas, but we'll see. This is the aforementioned Ibu Super Chat, which I definitely could have gone to at the time, but I like to remain in control. Ibu says, Oracle, bottom 3 ongoing wrestling TV. So I guess, like, the shows themselves? I don't know.
Yeah, so Rampage is,
Yeah. It's only an hour long.
I've got the coffin made for Rampage, okay?
It's an hour long, though, Oracle. You got to remember that. Hour long. It's important.
It's terrible. It's the most useless show on television. The next work would probably be NXT because
NXT,
scraps on there. I mean, the skits are just dumbfoundingly terrible. I mean, I can't express to you how bad the skits are. It's like, Jesus. It's the type of thing that, like, if a non-wrestling fan were in the room with you, you just go to the window and jump. But the
this is a good point, actually. There's a lot of are you saying most useless wrestling show on TV? Because Roderick Strong sometimes wrestles on Rampage. I draw the line at most useless on television.
I suppose so. And then I guess the third would be Level Up, because I mean Level Up's at least somewhat interesting because Level Up's at least, well, I guess it's not on television, technically it's streaming, so you might not be able to count that.
No, that's fine.
If you count it, I'll say Level Up, because at least you get the interesting sort of aspect of seeing these crowbars go out there and try to wrestle. But it's rarely ever good. But if we have to include TV,
just rank them. Just keep going.
It's got to be Dynamite because some of the just because the booking has been the worst booking decisions have been so bad on Dynamite and stuff. But I would say those are probably the bottom 3. Level Up, the worst being Rampage, second being NXT, and then Level Up if you count streaming. If not, then Dynamite.
So Collision's above Dynamite.
Yeah, because at least Collision will pop me at least once or twice a month with like their matches and shit.
What a fucking beast! All right, TV show rankings in the chat. This is among the big 2 because none of us watch enough of MLW Fusion. So feel free to play along in the chat because I'm like fascinated where everyone's. I think the answers are going to be all over the board on this. Oracle's big action injury guy factual. Okay, so if you want to play along, feel free to do so in the chat. Thank you, Ibu, for that question. That was purely for him to lash out and express his own views on TV in the chat while you did your list. We have a great viewership here thus far, Bobby. What do you think the people should do to the like button?
Yeah, smash that like button.
Singlet Supreme. Grab this My Faction pack today, featuring Bianca Belair, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Brutus Creed, and Julius Creed. Who are you most excited to play as, Bob?
Either of the Creeds. Big fan.
Good. All right. Let's preview this professional wrestling show. Let's start with the opener. Jerking the curtain. Out there trying to warm the people up like it's 2009 all over again. He's working the Undertaker. CM Punk, who once booked Collision to TV Show of the Year from 1978 through 1983. He now wrestles in WWE and will be doing a Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre of Evolve and Laboon fame. These men have been feuding now for approximately a decade, and they have had 2 matches, one of which have featured Seth freaking Rollins and a friendship bracelet. The other featured a strap, 4 corners, and the same friendship bracelet. This one will not feature, as far as I know, any of those things, but will feature a large cell box-like structure and most likely 2 razor blades. We're very excited for it. It's many people's main event. It's CM Punk. It's Drew McIntyre, the Oracle of Wrestling. Take it away.
Well, I got to tell you, when I was a wee lad many years ago, they used to have these matches.
They did? Wrestling matches?
And I'll tell you what, these guys would get thrown headfirst into the post, take a chair shot to the head, sometimes unprotected. And they would reappear. The camera would sort of play a trick and try to, focus on something else. Sometimes not successfully, but, it is what it is. And these people would reappear with a crimson mask, blood all over their face, bleeding profusely. Jim Ross would scream, "Good God Almighty."
Yeah.
Great bouts over the years. Mick Foley, Randy Orton. Backlash 2004, Randy Orton, Ric Flair. Cage match from Taboo Tuesday 2004.
Great match.
John Cena, JBL, I Quit match, Judgment Day 2005. John Cena, Umaga, Last Man Standing, Royal Rumble 2007. Triple H, Batista, Hell in a Cell.
Great match.
2005.
Great match.
Triple H, Ric Flair, Taboo Tuesday 05, Triple H, Ric Flair. Survivor Series 05.
I was at that one.
The ball peen hammer spot. What a moment.
Remember when Luke Gallows used the ball peen hammer as the director of chaos in Ace and Ace?
Mick Foley and Ric Flair, SummerSlam 2006. Tomorrow, between
Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
and 6:50 p.m. Eastern, people are going to witness something that we have not witnessed in many years in the World Wrestling Federation. I feel like, lest I forget Eddie Guerrero and JBL from Judgment Day 2004, I feel like we're going to get the double razor here. I think we're going to get blood. I think we're going to have the traditional cell, right? Not the red one. Seems like they had the
traditional, old school, the way you like it.
This is a feud that has been going on for 10 months, as Drew McIntyre mentioned in his promo on Monday night. It has hit some incredible highs, even a few lows. I imagine that might be the dog in the background that we're hearing.
That's what it is, yes.
Yeah, that time it is.
But
that's actually what it was. I was spending the last 2 minutes trying to figure out what that sound was.
This is, in some ways it felt like they probably ran the treadmill a little bit on it, right? Late summer, early fall here.
Yeah.
But this is the end of this one. What a great feud it's been. I think we are going to see. I'm hopeful. The strap match gave me a lot of hope.
Yeah, me too.
I think we are going to see, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. An all-time classic from the World Wrestling Federation, a bloodbath.
All-time classic.
One-
Wow. Okay.
A true blade job of which we have not seen since Shawn Michaels at Great American Bash 2008 against Chris Jericho, most likely, which was the last TV-14 rated pay-per-view event.
Wow.
Folks,
Wow.
I think we're going to see something special. I think Uncle Phil will gain the victory.
Wow.
Although
Okay.
I think it would be very interesting if McIntyre won. I think there's an interesting discussion to have about that. But I think Punk will win this. And I think we will have Punk challenging the World Heavyweight Champion on November 30th in Vancouver, British Columbia, Gunther.
Which, I mean, that's very enticing. That match is very enticing.
Mhm.
But tomorrow, I
Very,
think
very, very enticing.
blood, and I think it's going to fucking
Yeah.
roll.
You got me excited, Oracle. You got me excited, Chris. What do you think? Do you co-sign Oracle's excitement?
I do. So I'm typically not a person who like demands the blood, but this is an exception with how much each person has brought it up in the promos. Like they have to deliver on that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think Punk wins, and maybe Drew takes a little time off or something. But I'm not 100% on that because I think it's a while before we get to Punk Gunny.
Interesting.
Because, and I don't think Punk's going to do the Saudi show, and it certainly looks like they're setting up Braun Breaker to go after Gunny here soon, with what happened on Monday night. So I could see that being the Saudi match, and then maybe at Survivor Series they do Punk Gunther. But yeah, so maybe Punk loses and then gives him some time. But I think Punk's probably should win. So
yeah, to your point, there would be, if he wants to wrestle on TV or if he wants to do like this thing with Ethan Page, you do have time for to rebuild him as a contender. But I do agree with you that the conclusion, you still kind of, even when you talk around it, you kind of go, no, he should probably just win, right? I think Drew has gained a lot from this program. I don't think he loses a lot from. I mean, the only thing I would say if I was Drew McIntyre's friend, which I'm not, was his win over Punk was a lot less decisive than Punk's win over Drew was, which is fine. He's the heel. But it must be said, the win in Berlin was him with 18 GTS. And it was emphatic. He beat him. So that's the only thing that I think makes it slightly more complicated. Very, very intriguing. Bobby O'Neill, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Punk's going to win, and we get blood. I wouldn't honestly be surprised if the blood was kind of a compromise for not main eventing, or just because the match calls for it, and Triple H is more open to that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, I see the case for Drew winning, but I think it's got to be Punk. It's his first big feud since coming back, and I think it's time.
Something just happened. There was a sound then. I heard that. It was definitely a sound. Did you guys hear it?
That one's not the dog.
I heard that one.
Okay, Bob, did you hear a sound?
No.
Yeah, I heard it.
Smoke and gun in Bobby Two Shoes' hands right now. We've got to be very, very wary of him. Look at him. He looks innocent.
I don't know what it could be, though.
Bob, I'm telling you, explosive sound, static sound, explosive.
Yeah,
You're lucky I told people to turn it down. Otherwise, it'd be insane what would be going on out there. All right? You can't, Bob, don't move a muscle. All right? This is serious business, okay? Anything can happen. I hope everyone's safe out there. All right. Thank you to Ian for becoming a member. This is the sort of, what a great promotion this is for the membership here. Little 40-minute segments. Just about, maybe we're all fucked. I don't know. This is interesting. Kind of sounded like the beginning scratch, the cult personality. My goodness, WWF's
Wait a
It's
minute.
very, very
Someone said they were in Chicago.
Someone did say they're in Chicago, Bobby. Are you going to be the Bruce Pritchard to CM Punk's Vince McMahon in NXT?
I don't know if we should really
What,
make that
Bruce Pritchard?
comparison.
He's your favorite podcaster. I was trying to be nice. All right. Does he still podcast?
I think it's just repeats now because he doesn't have any time and because he's got a job, I guess.
Why would I never understand this. Why would a podcast have repeats like it's on like NBC? You know what is it?
I have no idea. Like, because they say like, "Oh, we added stuff," and they don't. It's just like a cut of everything they've done before.
Diabolical. Does Shivani's podcast still exist? Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so.
all right. It's someone's mic. It was definitely a mic sound. Bob, be careful. Be really careful, okay? Anything could happen. Ibu said, if Punk Drew is a shoot 4.5, I'm turning the show off and going out to party. Ibu sitting at a bar explaining to girls that he's gone out because of a 4.5-star wrestling match. I thought, to CM Punk's credit, I thought that the build had began to stagger slightly, and I think he was very aware of it. And I think he's locked in and cut his best promos of the run. Outside of
outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only WWE promo since he came back that's been better or as good as these most recent ones was the one after he got injured, which was a classic CM Punk promo.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of an actual wrestling promo, because that was a lot more real than that,
So that's one where
he's been doing his best stuff.
Where Drew attacked him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one
you know,
Rumble?
Yeah, the one about, there's always next year. So I think he's been great in kind of sticking the landing on this thing and making sure it still has juice. Obviously, in the opening spot, this is going to have an insane crowd. I mean, it's a ridiculous match during the open. Like, I get why it is, because the way that the politics are, the boys have that thing of, if you're not on last, you better off be on first because you can get fresh crowd. But realistically, like, doing a cell match out the gate when it's going to be this crazy is nuts, right? Like, it goes against all wrestling convention. But Cody did with AJ earlier this year in Glasgow, right? They had their kind of crazy I quit match in the first spot. So the 5-match cards, you can kind of get a bit creative with that. Creative's the word I'm going with. It'll be interesting. I'm very bullish. Until I see the blood for myself, I'm going to be a little bit...
I get
down it a little bit, but yeah, I'm hopeful.
I mean, I'm just going to say right now, they're good enough to have a really good match without the blood, but
yeah,
if they go in there and start doing plunder shit with chairs and a bracelet spot, I'm going to be...
Yeah.
If they hadn't brought it up in the promos, I probably wouldn't think anything of it. But they've mentioned blood multiple times.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they have to deliver on it now.
And even before SummerSlam, when Punk's thing was like, it's going to be like a crazy level of violence, like it's all been building to the blow off, right? Like now it's time to. I think the first match, I like the first match 1.5. I really like the second match, but we now need to get the violence that has, belongs in this kind of deal. So. This is a big match. I mean, I don't like to do the sort of dramatic legacy game shit because ultimately it's wrestling, but it's not a legacy game. That'd be foolish. But I do think this is like this and the Gunter match are going to really decide what role Punk plays for the years he has left. In the sense that clearly he's still one of their biggest attractions. He's always going to be featured. Yeah, he's getting up there in age. He's always going to be featured and be an attraction, but if he can deliver in these matches the way I think he can, then I think he actually is he's really in that conversation for WrestleMania main events and world titles in the next couple of years. Now, again, there's a lot of, obviously, we hope he stays healthy. That's the main thing. But if the matches can't quite go through the gears the way they once could, it will affect things, right? You can only, we haven't seen him have a lot of matches, dude. He's had 3 televised matches in this run. It's crazy to say, but he hasn't even been back for a year either, which I find to be kind of mind-boggling, to be honest. But I'm pretty hopeful. I think he's looked good since he came back in his brief outings. So we'll see. All right, Super Chat from Carter, who says, all the feud of the year chat is centered around Punk, Drew, Swerve Hangman, but it's Cody, Rock, and Reigns. Clear them. Better promos, the angle of the year, and the best match in 2024. Texas Death was last year. So to that final point, I do agree that people do forget how much of the Swerve Hangman stuff was last year. The first 2 matches, an extended part of the build. And as someone who didn't like the Samoa Joe triple threat, that would then take away the first chunk of the stuff they did this year. So I agree with that. So the problem I have with the argument is I agree the promos were really strong in the Rock stuff.
The build to Mania 40 was incredible,
Yeah.
especially the last month.
Yeah,
Dwayne was literally like on another level.
He was.
yeah, to everyone.
To an absurd degree.
The issue I would have with it, Kartik, is why I think it's a fair argument and the consensus would be totally in line with it. I can't lie to myself. Unfortunately, I did not like the match. And I disliked it to such a degree that I would be fraudulent for putting it as my feud of the year. Even though I wanted to.
Are they talking about the tag match? Or are they talking about Cody Roman?
Kartik's talking about the single match, like when he said the best match of the year. But what I'm saying is the Rock match was so not for me that I couldn't put it as feud of the year because that's the match he wrestled. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Guy's talking about the Mania Cody Roman match. But it's a fair argument. Like Rock's, when in 20 years when they tell the story of 2024 and the wrestling year, Dwayne's a centerpiece there because his return as a heel was, it was box office. It had me locked into a level I haven't been locked in many, many years.
I'll never forget that post-Mania Raw in Philadelphia when they had to take away the Titantron to fit more people in the building. That was insane.
I often wonder when we're in these runs because I'm deeply unwell. I often ponder like what will be considered the peak in hindsight because you never know in real time, right? You never know what's the stuff. Like I often wonder that, like, will Rock's next run, which could be very close, we'll get there. Will it go the other direction where Dwayne, because that stuff happens sometimes. Maybe it won't be what we just got. Maybe he'll not be quite. Maybe some people got in his ear and he decides he should do something else. There's a lot of things going on with the Rock's brain at all times. So I just wonder if like that night after Mania will be seen as this kind of high point of momentum and excitement. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think so, but it could be close, definitely.
There's still time in the year though, too. I mean, especially if Big Dwayne shows up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think he's going to be there. I'll go ahead of it and say I think Rock's going to be there. So.
Oh my fucking God.
Then that is to Chris's point, like what that means for the bloodline. We'll get to, but it's very interesting.
This reminds me of fucking football on again. Last year, Survivor Series, I missed it live because South Carolina Clemson was on. Yeah. And I watched Survivor Series, which was a great show. Beginning, the whole show was great. And I had, for some reason, I'd checked the time on the show. Anyways, I had checked the time. I had checked the time on the show. I checked the time on the show, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's 10 minutes left." I said, "Oh no!" I said, "Hold on, wait a second," because I had avoided all spoilers. I was like, "Oh my God, Phil's coming back." I was like, "He's showing up." I was like, "Holy fucking shit, he's showing up." So like, this is the same shit that's gonna happen. I'm gonna be sitting here.
It's different though, right?
It'll be different. Yeah, it'll be different.
Like
it'll be 1:32 a.m. Eastern time, and I'll be bored out of my fucking mind 37 minutes into this bloodline bullshit. And then the fucking the damn Hollywood Rock theme will hit. And then
you'll lock in.
Oh yeah, I'll lock in, brother.
The Punk one is like probably the craziest I've ever reacted to professional wrestling as an adult. Like, I lost my shit because I just couldn't believe it was and the way they did it with the shot of the building, like they were about to go off the air. My God, crazy reaction. I think we did this already, but if we didn't, and even if we did, you can always do it twice. Shout out to Ian for becoming a member. We definitely did do that. Remy has never been a member for a month. When you become a member for a month, guys, you get one of these you get like a free one of these gimmicks. And Remy says, remember when Jim Uso was having main event singles matches every week on SmackDown last year?
Yeah.
There was a match we had with AJ that no one will care. Because Ibu said this on Hanging with Hole, but I'm pretty sure. And if he didn't, I apologize, Ibu, I'll edit it out. But I guess he had a match with AJ, and AJ walked through the curtain and was like, well, that fucking sucked. We didn't say fight. He probably said that freaking sucked, which popped me huge. Then they went 15. I was like, he definitely had a 15-minute match with Orton. Very long match with Orton. Jimmy Uso had 2 1/4.
Yeah, that was in like late December, right? Or in December maybe?
Yeah,
January.
yeah, something like that. When he just came back.
Yeah.
I love Jim Uso. I hope Jim Uso as well. I miss him actually. I know he's not a mechanical marvel when it comes to singles action, but fun personality. He was one of the only things I liked about the Rumble this year, which I thought was just absolutely miserable, was his bit of trying to shake hands with everyone who entered the match. Lord Lambo says, if CM Punk delivers in Hell in a Cell in a classic Gunter World title match, does he get into your Wrestler of the Year conversation? Punk is always one of the stories of the year. He would not be in my Wrestler of the Year conversation personally.
Yeah.
Fellas, anything on that? Missed too much time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say they did a good job of keeping him on the TV, though. Very good job of doing it. Very good. It allowed him to stay in the game and feel present, which I think's paid off. But yeah, he just missed so much time.
That sounded like that was him going, "You ain't extending me, brother."
Yeah,
I'm still showing up.
Good call. Brainbuster says pro wrestling factual. I like it. I like it very, very much. Okay. I may have missed something here. No, I don't think I did. All right, Andy, Super Chat. Would you be up for Punk losing the first and beating Gunther at Mania? Love the stream, but it should have been audio only. Joe's evil talk is destroying my Chelsea lifestyle. It's fair. If it helps, I think Tottenham suck too. It's just a show I wore today. So I don't do sports, guys. This is well known. My sports teams are FTR, the Good Brothers, and the Usos. So to this point, I think this is great. Unfortunately, I think hustle, loyalty, and respect is going to take precedent there. I'm pretty sure. I think Punk's working Seth at Mania, right?
Yeah.
That's surely the way it feels.
Yeah, I believe so.
The way that they've kept them like apart, but kept them just attached enough that we remember it, like that's just where they're going. But I'd be way up for that. I mean, I think Punk and Gunther is probably
think they're closing a show, brother.
No. I think the Gunther match is the highest ceiling for a Punk match in this run, I think, to be honest. He'll be out of cell, fight from underneath. I think it'll be great. All right. I guess we should preview. I keep saying preview. What the fuck is wrong with me?
You're cooked.
Preview. Cooked, bro. Cooked. For those of you that are watching this like on delay, I may even put in the timestamps. Like the opening segment, the conclusion ultimately is that I absolutely am cooked. The whole segment was a waste of time. We've figured it out now. Okay. Wrestling. Okay, we did the Hell in a Cell match. We're all picking Punk, correct? We're all picking Punk. Okay.
I heard that noise. Is that me?
It wasn't you. Bob, did you hear it?
I did not.
He's dead to rights, bro.
I don't know what the deal is here.
You're serving life, dude. You got no case on this. Over. It's like a crackle, dude. It's not like anything actually crazy. The chat's just doing the loud bit because of the way I set it up. It's just a slight static.
All right, fair enough.
Shockwave.
It could legit be like your phone being close to the mic.
Yeah, maybe let me put it. I'll move that. Maybe that'll help. I have a different mic I can try too, but like.
No, you sound great. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. And it gives the show a sense of danger and excitement.
Sure. It's October. We're spooky.
We're supposed to have like spooky stuff. We forgot it. Oh well. We'll make up for it at the end of the month. I think we're working on some stuff.
When we talk about the bloodline tag going.
Oh yeah, we will.
A few minutes.
So Bayley, who used to wrestle in NXT as Bayley, is going to be wrestling for the world's title here on Bad Blood. They're going to be on second allegedly because they made a point of leaking the full lineup so everyone can figure out when they want to have their friends over, when they want to do so. So you have the whole lineups out there from what I told. And second is going to be Bayley and Nia Jax, which this match first took place, well, in a major sense. I'm sure it didn't happen on house shows, but in London, NXT TakeOver London, which was legitimately 9 years ago. Which is very difficult to figure out and deal with, but that's where we're at. I think this is, to be totally honest, and I think anyone who watches this knows that I think a lot of both grapplers, and I think Bayley has been awesome since turning babyface, and Nia has made the absolute most of her run. I just think this is like entirely uninteresting. I understand the Tiffany thing has got like a hook, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm not into this stuff at all. I think it's really, really uninteresting. Oracle, am I being unfair?
No, I think you're right, and I think we also have to put into the fact that, like, you know, if with them announcing the card, ahead of time in the match order, this is about as bad of a death slot as you can get. I mean,
Yeah.
this is. I mean, they're going to get. I mean, they're basically fucked. The only way that they're going to get a pop is if they actually like do a Tiffany cash in mid match.
Yeah, which they
Yep.
might, I guess, right?
You know, they may do that. I thought the SummerSlam match was decent.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I just don't find the whole thing particularly interesting. They've got the the Naomi Bayley thing brewing, which I'm sure they'll have a program at some point. I don't know. This screams not much going on. Get Tiffany out there
Mm-hmm.
to tease a cash in type situation. Of course, now they're actually teasing her to cash in with the Rhea Liv match too. So I mean, and knowing how this stuff goes, I mean, they could do Tiffany teasing the cashing in on Nia 17 more times. They've already done it 6 or 7
Sure.
times. Every week they do the same thing over and over and over
Yeah.
again. I mean, granted, it works. You get the same. It's a Pavlov's dog thing. I mean, it gets the same reaction every damn week. So it's not like it's not working in a sense. But I don't know. Eventually, you gotta do something with it.
Sure.
I think the only thing I'm pretty confident about is Bayley's not winning and not leaving with the championship.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if Nia will. If maybe Tiffany wins it here, more likely Nia wins, and they still just sort of tease a Tiffany thing, and nothing comes of it. Tough to say. I don't know. But the one thing I'm confident about is that Bayley does not leave with a belt, and I think this is a match that has the worst placement on the card in terms of crowd investment, and it's also the least interesting match on the card.
By far, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's in a rough spot.
It's so kind of out of place to me and such a strange choice to run back the SummerSlam match, which I thought was a fine match, but like I don't know anyone was clamoring for a rematch. It makes me think they have to be doing a cash in because it's just like what, like they already was put in a really rough spot at SummerSlam and wrestled to like very little reaction for most of it. They had to really work hard to get to people, and now they're doing it again. Like I don't know, man. It's for all of the talk about like wanting to do the big pay-per-view matches on TV because it helps the TV. This match would benefit more than any of those from being a TV main event. Like a TV crowd would really get into this as the main event. I don't get it. Chris, are you more excited than Oracle and I are?
Not really.
Yeah.
I like everybody involved. It's just, it doesn't seem really have much of a reason to do a rematch. I thought it probably should have been Naomi, or a triple threat, but they decided to go with Pam, for the rematch, which fine. I don't know if we're getting a cash in. It feels like they're gonna keep playing that out longer, but maybe, maybe the real true queen shows up. I don't know.
Casey Jane?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think Nia retains. So
Charlotte's definitely going to be central to this division. Like, I think Tiffany's a match they want to do, right? Her and Charlotte, and we know Charlotte and Nia are close. So, I think she'll be involved, and I think that is definitely important in terms of when Tiffany. The other thing with the Tiffany deal is like, is she gonna cash in and be a babyface? Like, what are they doing with that?
Well, yeah, because I don't think you can babyface Nia,
right?
Yeah,
and so the story would kind of suggest she's gonna be a babyface, right? Kind of,
right? Because you would think they would be. She finally gets sick of Nia's bullying, and then attacks or whatever, and then cashes in on her.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't really see Tiffany. I mean, she gets babyface reactions a lot, but I just don't see her.
It's a weird fit.
She's too She's too green to pull off being a babyface at this point, I think.
I think you'd have to be very careful with like sapping her of all of her personality, because it's the kind of baby thing that you could turn her babyface in a couple of years once she's like done it all and she has a certain level of cred. But right now, the reason people like her is because of her like mean girl shtick.
Mm-hmm.
Her like, oh, she's like a caricature, right? Like she's way over the top. I don't know how you would. Maybe you could pull it off. I mean, maybe the Barbie kind of.
And other than that,
I don't know.
they just don't. When they have someone like that and they turn them, they completely change their whole character. They don't let them continue to be what got them the babyface reactions in the first place.
Interesting.
LA Knight's the only person that they've let be himself.
Yeah, his gimmick is like he's just a straight up a dick, right? That's LA Knight's gimmick, and we like him for it. It's interesting. It makes me wonder if they see a very particular way they want to market and present Tiffany from like a merchandising point of view. I don't know, because I see the segments and I'm like, it's just weird to me to turn a babyface this soon. But that seems where they're going, Bobby. What do you make of this whole picture?
Yeah, I think it is kind of a vehicle for Tiffany to cash in, because I'm kind of with Chris. Like, why wouldn't they just go with Naomi otherwise? Like, I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with the match. Like you guys said, there's nothing wrong with the SummerSlam match either. It's just kind of flat, and the build's just kind of never hit any sort of level. It's mostly just been between Nia and Tiffany more than anything. And
it's just steady, right? Like it's just at one level,
And again, following the cell, it's really got no chance, and it's kind of a bummer. But like something's got to follow it if it's not going to main event. So,
I think there's a good chance we're going to get a Bayley Naomi mid card program.
Yeah, Naomi's definitely turning on Bayley.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think we're going to get not involved in the title. Like I think we're just going to have a.
Problem with that is like Bayley and Naomi as a pairing would almost certainly be better with Bayley as the heel, but you can't do it that way around because you just flipped her like early this year. You know what I'm saying? But like match wise, how was Naomi as a heel the last time she did it? Because she hasn't done it a lot, right? She's almost been a career babyface, Naomi.
It's been since what? I was going to say it's been since Team Bad, hasn't it?
Team Bad, yeah.
How was she in that run? Because I don't remember it. I'm not asking a dick.
That was 9 years ago, Joe. I'm old. I don't remember shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Oracle, any hidden gems on main event or SmackDown or whatever?
No. Not that I can recall.
Maybe she can get Tamina back. Maybe so. Pleffer had a super chat. He said Bayley has been in the title picture for the entire year. Bad. Team Bad. We were just talking about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of stout with me. I think the divisions are kind of. I mean, they've found something hot with the Liv Rhea thing. Whether you like it or not, it's certainly hot. But the SmackDown division feels almost like autopilot booking to me. You know, it's just sort of. Good God Almighty! Look at this.
I don't agree with that at all.
Do you think that's a pretend, Alex? Alex would never say something like that about Nick Wayne and Naomi, would he? I think that's a pretend, Alex. Like when people do like political figures, Bob, you know?
Yeah.
Alex would never. Alex was literally campaigning just last week to do Grin grappling Nick Wayne. Literally campaigning for it. He said we should get in on it early. All right. Third match, hour and 15. Okay, third match. These two are kind of paired. This is not going to take long, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, Damian Priest will bleed into the other one, but let's start with Finn and Dame. This is going to be fascinating on a nerdy level because of how Finn's going to wrestle it. Because Finn has got very, very comfy, having like the most tidy 3 1/4s in the United States. But like you presume he's going to like, I don't know. Like, I guess he's going to try and like do like cool moves and stuff here. I don't know. He might. This match could be very good. I think Priest has been very good as of late, and Finn Balor is like supremely skillful. I mean, tremendous wrestler. I don't say anything I said there is an insult, but he's been slotted and he's been very like role player in ring. Do we think he goes nuts here and goes takeover mode, Bobby? What do you reckon?
I hope he does. It's been a while. I think the last time we really saw him like go wild like that, I guess the Edge match at WrestleMania was up there, but even then it wasn't like at that level. But yeah, I'd like to see him kind of bring back a really good one. Priest has improved greatly this year, especially once he won the belt, and that really elevated him. And yeah, I think they can really have a nice match here, and I think Finn is going to win.
Finn over. Feels like
Yep.
Finn needs a win, doesn't it? As a singles, you can always have Dane get the win back later. I'm sure he will. Interesting, very interesting. Oracle, what do you reckon? Finn and Priest.
This could be a match that kind of, on paper, I don't love it, honestly. Like, it's like, but I think it kind of will sneakily over deliver probably,
Probably.
and will probably be pretty good because I think Priest has earned his way to be very over.
For sure.
Finn's faces will probably be a little bit over the top, right? Like, I mean, have you seen that? Like the face he made at SummerSlam, they now like put that on the.
Yeah. Please reflect back, return. If you're editing this, Tope, for another day, just go back to that segment about me not watching a lot of wrestling TV because it's just,
This should be pretty good. I think I guess Finn wins. I don't know. I'm about ready for this. Like, I like Judgment Day versus Terra Twins feud, but like, you know, it's been going on for 2 months. Once again, you know, WWE TV, wrestling TV. This will be good. That's what I'm confident of. I don't really have a firm.
You don't care at all.
Yeah, I don't care. That's true. I just think that it will be pretty good. I think it will be a match that will over deliver. That's the one thing I'm confident about.
That was such a beast Oracle segment. Is like if you watch this show long enough, and I certainly noticed it as someone who's been alongside Oracle on these shows, I saw Oracle trying to put the piece in place to like feign interest in it. But what you actually did was you like established at the start this will be good. And then you just immediately, like, slowly went through why that means absolutely nothing to you and your interest. It's very beast. All right, good stuff. Chris, you've been into this this program. What do you make of this Balor and Priest match?
So I think these two matches are tied together. Obviously, I think whoever wins one is going to win the other, and I'm leaning towards the Judgment Day sweep here because I think Finn needs to win more. So that we can take him seriously as a singles heel. I think the match will be really good. I remember really liking their match at, was it In Your House 2020?
Yep.
Like I thought that was a really good match. So I expect them to have a really good match here. Matt and I were talking last night on our show, and we were both with both these matches. It's like, it feels like it's time for everyone to move on, but like, what do they move on to? Specifically the women. Like,
yeah,
it's really tough. So I don't know, but I think Finn wins here, and then we'll get to the women's match.
Yeah,
here in a minute.
I've got Finn winning also, and to go straight into it, I have got the Judgment Day getting a sweep. They lost in Berlin, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Right, they did, yeah.
Which did kind of surprise me. So I think they both steal wins here, and let's go straight into it. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, these two open the SummerSlam, of course, in the match that concluded with the Dom turn. Now, well, they had a decent match. I had fun with the match. And I think this will be decent too. I guess the question with this pairing is like, how good can it really be? The crowd's going to be into it though, which should help, right? So like, I think this will be fun. I don't know if it will be like, great, but I don't think it necessarily. It's not what every wrestling match has to be, right? Like I think the issue is if we were more excited about like the bell to bell element of the other division, I think it would be a lot easier to be like, this will be a good crowd pleaser, But unfortunately, the Bayley Nia I think we talk about isn't interesting really. So more focus is on this as a result, I find. But I think this will be good. I think Liv still retains the belt via Raquel Rodriguez, correct? Rodriguez. Yeah. I think that's the finish here, personally. Because whenever you do the shark cage, someone else is going to help. That's the rule of wrestling. Chris, what do you think?
I think Liv retains. I think Dom still finds a way to get involved somehow,
Maybe.
even though he's in the shark cage. Whether he drops something to Liv, ref bump. Stop me if you heard that one before. And so yeah, he pulls something out of his pocket and drops it to Liv, and she uses it. The match will be fine. This is where like they briefly mentioned on SmackDown tonight of Tiffy coming over and cashing in here, and I wouldn't be opposed to that either, because then it gives, again, like I said, it gives something, injects some fresh blood. Because like I said, the biggest problem, especially for with Finn and Priest, I think there's like you could go back to the Priest and Drew Mac and revisit that as a feud, but like just looking at the Raw Women's roster, like regardless, like what does Rhea do after this, whether she wins or not? Like there's no one ready at this point. Io and Kyrie are doing tag stuff. No one in Pure Fusion Collective is over enough.
No, yeah, you couldn't do that. This is where, and she's not on Raw anyway, but my point is kind of broadly, this is where Bianca being a tag wrestler is kind of difficult at times, right? In the sense that it's like, and I get why. I understand that it's a project they care about. I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just, I do think people really overestimate how deep the division is in terms of actual popularity. There's not talent. There's talent there. But look at Mia. Okay, Michin was not over at all until she got what they call television time.
Right.
And she's now got over because she's been given stuff to do. Kind of. She's not
television time.
Well, she's not going out there to like Dwayne Johnson response. But the people know she is now, right? How long was she on the roster without getting any response? Because she would only turn up like once every 6 weeks.
A really fucking long time.
Right, and it's just, I think this is where the mid-card thing is an issue, in that there's not a lot of names that are ready to just slot in.
That's why January 2025, SmackDown, 3 hours.
So I think maybe you spin Rhea off to work with, maybe you do Raquel helps, Rhea and Raquel work together, and maybe like Io does something with Liv. But it feels like the Liv title reign needs to end soon, doesn't it? Like, I like Liv, but like, I don't know. Maybe Rhea should just win.
Yeah.
Because I do think the eventual direction, I'm not even doing a bit here, this is being sincere. I think the eventual direction is Judgment Day versus the Wyatt Six. Like, I'm pretty convinced of that. And I think that's something that will go on for a long time, to be honest. I think that's the eventual route they're taking with that. But it's like, it's very, very difficult. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Bobby, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I think Liv's going to win. When they did the shark cage stip, it kind of set off an alarm where, like, either Dom is going to drop something down to her, or Raquel's going to come out. It's just, I get it, but also, like, you're right. It should go back to Rhea at this point, even if they do Rhea and Raquel again for the title instead of just Rhea and Raquel in, like, this non-title feud. Like, because, again, like, you guys really nailed it. Like, what's next for Liv then? And there's not really a challenger ready to step up. And I know Raw's going to 2 hours, but she's going to be champion. She's still going to be featured, obviously. So, yeah, I think she's going to win. I just don't know what's next for either of them, and that's interesting.
I mean, the honest answer is probably this just goes on, right?
I guess so.
Unfortunately.
I don't know. Like, I do kind of wish that they got the sell as well. Like, I know they want to do 2 on the same night, but kind of could have done a lot more in there and probably ended it definitively. And
I think it has legs, though. Oracle.
Let me point this out. I will bring this up. I'll give my predictions of the match, whatever, first. The match, I think, will be super fun. I think I'll have great heat. I think there'll be, like, funny comedy spots where, like, Carlito shows up in the audience with, like, a hoodie on or something and, like, tries to help Dom, and it'll be very amusing. I agree with Joe. I think Raquel's going to show up. I think she's going to help Liv retain. And I think once we have to remember that Royal Rumble to Mania, Mania to SummerSlam, SummerSlam to Survivor Series. So we can't forget the Saturday night's main event.
That's where I think it ends. Yeah.
I think we have a War Games match involving these ladies.
Yep.
And then Rhea finally wins the belt back from Liv at Saturday night's main event on December 14th.
I agree. Because that's one of the talents that they'll want to spotlight on that stage. And everything that you guys hear from like the big, like it's out there for a reason. I mentioned the Uncle Howdy, Wyatt Six, Judgment Day feud, right? If Raquel and Liv are both in the Judgment Day, Bob, that would mean that Nikki would need a second, right?
Yep.
When was the leak or the report that Alexa was going to be back again, Bob? Do you remember this?
I don't.
It was after the holidays. Do the maths on that, what Oracle just laid out and what we just put together. That stuff, look,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking anyone. Those reports are out there for a reason. It's like how when the Wyatt Six came to be, they got ahead of it by 2 months and told us exactly who's in the group. Like, that report basically was them saying, like, do not expect her to be at Bad Blood or Survivor Series. She's not going to be. You know, that's what I think you'll get. And I think that will actually be the kind of shtick that, like, the Judgment Day, this version of Judgment Day is probably actually better suited to, be honest with you. I think Finn Balor and his funny faces would probably be more suited to that. And also, as DNM mentions, Carlito versus Joe Gacy. So, maybe to look forward to. God, Joe Gacy worked so hard in that match. You know? But yeah. Everything I said there, let me be clear because it's important, Drew. I'm saying this is in line with Oracle's timeline where Liv drops the belt with Saturday night's main event. That's what I'm saying. So, I think it made sense. Did I make sense there, guys? Was that in line? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tremendous. Andy says WWF is in a spot where Raw is better than the pay-per-views. None of their best stuff is on Bad Blood other than Punk Drew. Pay-per-views dominated by Judgment Day and Bloodline. What do we make of this, fellas?
I mean, as someone who likes Judgment Day and Bloodline, I don't have a problem with it. So.
Yeah. Bob, though, an incredible sell.
I think part of it is that, like, the Bloodline, of course, are like the big box office cinema sort of thing that they've kind of, fallen in love with. And then Judgment Day is the sort of more traditional wrestling heel faction that can feud with basically anybody up and down the card. So it kind of makes sense to put them on the shows, but I don't entirely disagree. I do think there's a lot of good stuff on the TVs, particularly on Raw. It's just 5-match cards, Yeah,
it's an interesting one. Matthew's been a member for a month. There you go, Chris is on the same too. Matthew's been a member for the month and says this feud, this is about Liv and Rhea, says this feud is maybe heavily disliked Rhea Ripley. My God, she's getting close to channel changing material and incredibly corny. Strong opinions from Matthew Allen here. What do you think, fellas? Bob did a wow. Bob said wow. But we're on ESPN doing the radio. I haven't seen a lot of it that closely, so I'm intrigued. Like, chat and Grinners, what do we make of this? Any issues with Rhea as a babyface?
I disagree. I think she's been great.
Oracle? Oracle's really pondering this.
Because I'm trying to be fair and
that's what you do.
Play the devil's advocate, a little bit to Chris. I think there's some. I think Rhea's always been a little bit corny, to be honest with you, in some ways. Like, for example, when she comes out and sings her terrible theme, I find that to be like cringeworthy. But I've always found that to be like super corny. Like, but the way she carries herself and stuff, I still think she's tremendous. Yeah.
But Matthew follows up and says, I think she's great in ring, but everything else isn't connecting for me. So there is some talk in the chat. I see a lot of people saying they're not into the Jey Uso kind of, I guess, flirting. I guess what they call that, Bob, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's all it is. It's just like, it's not anything.
I'm with Jake. Her charisma is incredible. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just her natural charisma is just amazing.
It seems like Matthew's beef is more the presentation of her as a babyface, maybe softening.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Doesn't seem like he's alone in the chat. There's definitely some elements of that people were co-signing. So that's interesting. All right, main event time. Main event time. Bloodline. Now this is, of course, MLW legend Jacob Fatu alongside the late night Grin Zone Solo Sikoa as they meet the all-star team of, I think, probably the two biggest stars in wrestling, right? The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the Tribal Chief. I don't say OTC because of copyright, a gimmick infringement with the Good Brothers, but the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, as they team up here in Atlanta. These two met in an empty stadium to discuss movies and such, and they will be teaming up here for a big-time all-star tag team main event to close this show. The choice to be main event has been very controversial. It hasn't really surprised me because, it's Cody and Roman teaming up. I do think we may actually see once this gets going that this match would have actually I think there's an argument. Not an argument, that's wrong. It hasn't happened yet. I think there's a world in which this match would have actually benefited from being on first, to be honest, because the way it will be wrestled. This is going to have crazy heat, but I think we know what this is going to be paced like. So this will be interesting. I think we know how this is going to look, Bobby. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I'm fired up for it. I mean, you're right. We know how it's going to look. It's going to be slow. It's going to be long. But, Cody's good. Roman's good. We haven't seen Roman wrestle since WrestleMania. And Jacob Fatu's good. And, I mean, Solo's had a couple nice performances lately.
Yes.
He's turning the corner, maybe. I think working with Cody, he's usually quite good. And I think working with Roman, he should be fine. It's going to be a spectacle, and that's pretty cool. I am kind of disappointed that it's main eventing, but I think once it starts, I won't be disappointed because, Cody and Roman are going to get the giant entrance, and it's going to be cool. Like, it's a unique thing. I don't think it's going to be, a long-term tag team, obviously. It wouldn't surprise me if they're facing each other again before the end of the year, but, like, it's going to be, for what it is, it's going to be a great time, and I think, I was going to say, I think Cody and Roman will win.
Finish is interesting on this. I am excited for this match. I've tempered my expectations because of the way these matches are generally worked. I don't have a problem with that, but I think there's a version of this that could be incredible. And I don't think it'll be wrestled in a fashion to explore that version. I think it'll be a lot more and I haven't got a problem with that. I mean, I loved the Bloodline Civil War. I was there in the building for that. And I think the people in Atlanta will love this. We have seen it a few times, this formula. So, this year it comes out. I'm excited nonetheless. Great to see Roman back, of course. Chris, what do you make of our main event here?
I think if strictly bell-to-bell wrestling is your thing, this probably won't be for you.
Yeah.
But if you're into everything else that pro wrestling encapsulates, I think this is going to be very good. A lot of big personalities. I expect the crowd to be super hot for this. And I would imagine, Cody and Roman have to win. But, the interesting thing will be if there's what kind of post-match there is. Do we get Big Jim? Do we get Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I think we get Dwayne.
So
I think so.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. So
I am too. We'll get into that in a moment in terms of the direction because I think it's relevant here. Oracle, what do you think of the match itself? I know you've been kind of in that tempering expectations mode, right? Good call.
Yeah. In all honesty, 3 out of the 4 guys can deliver. I definitely think Roman is definitely someone who lets his charisma do a lot of the work nowadays, and will someone jokingly said in the chat, but it's probably true. Some light jogging and one good flat back.
It was Novi. I'll find it in a second. Carry on, Oracle. I'll find it. There we go.
Is probably in store. But Jacob will do a lot of intense stuff and exciting things. I'm more concerned about the length and the sort of cinematic wrestling that I've just gotten a bit tired of with Bloodline. I'm just tired of it. But there'll be like the Cody Roman, like Cody will make his do his thing where he turns
Tag the
his head.
back. They're gonna tag each other like
Yeah.
without meaning to, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like Evil Bloodline wins this.
Really?
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I find it hard to predict. I don't know. Part of me thinks they do Roman and Cody at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I don't know. I can be convinced Roman and Cody win here, and then it's tough for me. I think Roman and Cody are the main event for Crown Jewel. I think you can get to that match with them losing. I think you can get to that match with them winning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the fan in the background, maybe the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we lost you. We could hear you, but your audio changed for a minute.
Well, I'm awkwardly sitting, and my mic went lower, and then I sat on the cord for a minute, and I may have pulled at it, and all those other things.
That's what
I'm a mess whenever I do this gimmick, so it's funny because I never have my thoughts, and I'm just sitting here, just there's long pauses and shit. I don't know. Very similar to a Bloodline tag, probably, where they all sit around.
I think they pinned Solo, and I think they're going to do the gimmick of. Remember, what did he say about? What did he say to Jimmy? There's consequences to losing. Yeah. I think eventually they pay. Jacob's going to absolutely murder Solo. I think at Dwayne's order. I think, but I think that's where we're going. I could be wrong. The finish is interesting here. I will say.
What was Chris? Say your prediction for the Mana showing up again.
I just think there's probably. I mean, you got to figure the Tongans are going to get involved post match.
Sure.
And I don't know if I wouldn't have Randy and Owens come out to make the save for Roman, even though Cody's out there too. I think we see Jimmy too. I think Jimmy's the first, oh, here's Jimmy, and then The Rock comes out, and it's whose side is he on? And then he obviously sides with Solo's crew. So, but
it'd be interesting. There was a time where it felt very obvious that they were going to do Bloodline versus Bloodline of the Survivor Series. And I don't know anymore if that's what we're doing. I genuinely don't know. Because the Sammy and Jay stuff felt like a sign that they were going to get some pieces in place when they were going to team up. And then that was dropped out of nowhere. Jay's now the IC champ. Sammy's now working for the world's title. And instead, they've put this thing in place where it feels like the babyface team is going to be Roman, Cody, Kevin, and Randy to me. So, I don't know. I think that's obviously, talent-wise, that's stronger, but I think it's kind of a bummer as someone who's really got into the idea of the Bloodline thing, because I thought it would be a cool thing, Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes it less interesting.
Yeah, which is wild considering the talent we just listed, right? Yeah. But it does. Yeah. It doesn't. I do think it could be interesting in the sense that I think the Kevin Owens stuff is really compelling. But I currently think that the finish of War Games is going to be Randy's heel turn, to be honest. That's what I think is going to happen right now. Now, I don't know what's changed things. Again, I don't know anything about Jimmy Uso's situation. I don't think anyone does, nor do they need to. It just Jimmy's absence is kind of. I hope we do see him tomorrow because it's been a long time, right? He's been out now for at least 6 months.
Yep.
It's just there was talk he was cleared in July it's a little scary. So I hope Jimmy's okay, but it feels like things have changed.
I could have swore I saw something that he was on one of the house shows last weekend.
No, that was
that was fake.
That was a social media bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They got me too, actually, and then I circled back. Yeah. It was a bit. It was actually a friend of mine's bit. So, congrats to them. But yeah, that was a bit. He's not been around for a while. There was talk of him being cleared time ago. I don't know. I don't know the situation there. So things have changed, it seems. If Dwayne does show up, it'll be interesting what he does. I'm increasingly unconvinced of the idea of Dwayne working a double cage match in Vancouver, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And
a lot of movies get filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty
you're
convenient for him, probably.
Yeah, there you go. I could see Dwayne initially returning like alongside Roman, and then eventually he reveals it was all kind of him. It was him all along, Austin. You know, that kind of vibe. I don't know. We'll see what they do. It'll be very interesting. Hopefully, we do see. Hopefully, we do see Dwayne though. I'd certainly miss him. So, all right. Let's. That's true. Jimmy was mentioned in the stadium segment. Good call. Which, I mean, that thing was obviously very tightly produced. That wouldn't be there for no reason. Hopefully it's nothing and Jimmy comes back tomorrow. I'd pop huge, especially with that theme he has. It'd be tremendous. All right, we're going to close this program. By the way, the fact that we covered the entire card and I filled up the first hour of this show of complete shit is why that was necessary, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. We're going to close this show by trying to produce a collective list of sorts when it comes to the best Hell in a Cell matches. Now, this is going to be very loose. Chat, feel free to chip in accordingly. We're going to let Bob direct this because Bob gets very spiteful when he isn't in charge of these things. And when I brought it up in the pre-show, he started to yell. So I'm going to let him run the... Bob, if I just said to you, it's a random Friday night and you're doing a show called Late Night Grin in a StreamYard studio, and I said to you, what's the best Hell in a Cell match ever? What would you say?
Oh, man. The first one is definitely up there.
Yep.
The Foley and Triple H one is definitely up there. Cody and Seth is good, but I don't know if it's as good of a Hell in a Cell match. You know, it's just like a match and, you know, all the other stuff that came with it. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the first one, I think. Yeah, Taker and Shawn.
I would also go Taker and Shawn. Oracle, would you?
I am of the belief that the first 20 minutes of that match are not very good. Not bad. They're just kind of...
Do you not like Taker's shine?
But the last 12 minutes were unbelievably electric and some of the best 12 minutes in the history of the company.
Okay.
So I have a weird mixed feeling on that match.
So it wouldn't be your pick. What would be your pick?
It's tough. I think Batista and Triple H is way up there.
Yeah. That was great.
See,
Bob,
look how mad Bob gets when he disagrees with you. You know,
I got him. I muted him, and it stopped. That was it. That was the one we were fearing, folks.
Look how mad he gets when you disagree with him. Do you see how mad?
We hope everyone withstood that. That was devastating.
He just suddenly his mic went crazy when I gave a different opinion.
You're all lucky I was quick on that because that could have. Imagine the damage that could have done to all of our ears. All right, Bob. Cautiously unmute yourself. Okay, you're fine for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably just need a new mic.
Whenever I think Hell in a Cell, honestly, like, still to this day, I just think of Foley flying out the cage, even though the match is not good. But
yeah, that's the thing. I can't put that number one because it's just. It's not. It's like it's not really a match, is it? It's just
correct.
It's definitely the most famous one, though.
Definitely,
honestly,
yeah. And that
to be honest with you, it might be Taker Brock from 2002.
That one's great.
Right.
That might be the best one, but
would be among my. This is quite difficult, actually. So I would be happy with Taker Brock as a 2 seed. What would be your 2 seed, Bob?
Yeah, I think Taker Brock or Triple H Batista.
Okay, so Triple H Batista, Taker Brock are currently our lead candidates for the 2 seed. Chris, what would be your pick?
New Day Usos.
Ooh.
Yeah, it complicates things. I think I would go in that direction also.
I was there for that match, and up until
that match is great.
up until being at WrestleMania this year and seeing Cody win the title, that was my favorite match I had ever attended live.
That match is fucking great. That is a great match. New Day and Usos.
Mhm.
Becky and Sasha is my favorite of the women's singles matches. That match is very, very good.
It is.
Sasha and Charlotte, half of it's awesome, and the other half is like overbooked.
Yeah.
Sasha and Bayley is good, but not great in my opinion. Bayley Bianca is good, but not great.
The pretend Alex is saying Kevin Nash Triple H.
Yes,
is
that match.
underrated.
That match is.
He
great.
is good.
That
Yeah,
match is great.
it'll be a little bit low. So the ones I've got in this tier, chat for any is that we're wrong. So the other matches in the top tier, I've got a Taker Brock, Triple H and Batista, New Day Usos, Mankind Undertaker, Becky Sasha. Becky Sasha's probably a little bit lower. Say that.
I see.
So you got 4 there. Yeah.
So I think for as far as significance in that, I think it's got to be Taker Mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great matches here. All right. Here's the I'm whittling it down here to this 4, and then we'll vote, okay? Taker Brock, Triple H Batista, Mankind Undertaker, New Day Usos. What would be your vote for second? Chris, are you going with Mankind Taker?
Yeah, I feel like I have to.
Okay, Bob, what would be your vote?
Taker Brock.
Oracle, we're gonna get split every which way.
What's okay? So what are we voting?
Taker Brock, Triple H Batista, New Day Usos, Mankind Taker. What's your favorite of those?
Taker Brock.
So with that in mind, our collective 2 seed would be The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, correct? Okay, fine by me. Which would then leave us with Mankind Taker, Triple H Batista, New Day Usos. I would go New Day Usos. Chris, you obviously would go Mankind Taker.
Yeah.
Bob, what would you go with?
Of those 3, The New Day Usos match is really good.
Yep.
But I love Triple H and Batista. I think I'd go with Triple H and Batista.
Oracle's got the deciding vote. Oracle, Triple H Batista, New Day Usos, or Mankind Undertaker?
I gotta go with the Mankind Taker just because it's the lasting
It's the
image
one,
of itself.
Yeah.
I know it's not. It's a lot of people have actually called it a bad match. In some ways, it is. But it's just
Kind of by design, yeah. It's
yeah,
kinda-
it made that match. It made sort of
Yes.
It's probably the match I've watched the most.
Yeah.
In fact, it made the match so much that it actually killed the
It kinda
history
killed
that
it,
Shawn
yeah.
Taker had made 9 months earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people never even talk about Shawn Taker because
Yeah.
of that match. You know,
Yeah.
they kind of swallowed that match whole.
Yeah. So then I would go New Day Usos over Triple H
Yes.
Batista. Chris
Yes.
would
I would
also
too.
Bob.
Yeah.
Okay,
fine.
so New Day Usos, and then would we go Triple H and Batista,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
one of Triple H's best
That match
performances
is great.
is
Yeah.
pretend Ric Flair. Okay. That's our top 5. Our top 5 is Taker Shawn, Undertaker Brock, Mankind Taker. God bless Taker's fucking New Day
It's a good match.
Usos. Yeah, Batista Ric Flair. Okay. That's our 5. I don't know what would the next tier be. So I guess Becky, Sasha, Cody, and Seth, right?
Yep.
What other ones would be in that next 5 if we were to try to complete
Taker
that
Batista
tier?
Survivor Series 07 is very good, but I actually don't think it's as good as the other matches from 07.
Yeah.
I've never seen Taker and Randy from Armageddon 05. I've never actually seen it, believe it or not.
It's okay.
Good, not great.
I like Taker and Edge. I know you guys are probably lower on
Taker and
that.
Edge is very good.
I like that one.
Yeah. That
I
should
like
probably-
Taker and Triple H too from WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I hate that match.
I kind of figured that
Yeah.
you would be on that side of it, but
Right.
Yeah.
Underrated one. Very underrated match, for real.
that match is really
Oh, yeah.
good.
That
Jeff
was good.
Hardy, Randy
Yeah,
Orton
that match
is
is really good.
great.
Yes, it
Like
is.
that's one of those nights where Randy decided he was gonna be the best wrestler in the game for
Yeah.
for a minute and just stop after that match is great, dude.
Okay, no joke. Roman and Bray is fucking really good. But
I
it
remember
was
it.
the end of a feud that nobody gave a shit about. But that match is very, very good.
I don't remember that at all. 2015.
I don't think it could be in this category, anyways. But I do think that match is very good. Yes, Hell in a Cell 2015.
Right. So,
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's like 50 of them, you know.
yeah, of course. It's weird that like trying
This
to
second
compare
tier is
them.
tough because there's a lot of ones that are very good, you know.
Yeah. I
This
would
is
say
the Hell in
that
a Cell match. I like that match.
Armageddon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I would
Some
say
people
the
think it's
next
a classic. I don't know if I wouldn't go that far. I think it's a classic sort of moment in time, but I don't think the match is a classic.
I would argue our next pick, however, should be Cody and Seth, because while it is not mechanically a great match,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you get the significance point of view and them being
The
memorable,
match that made Cody Rhodes.
yeah,
I mean, that's the match, really.
made him immortal.
I've
Yeah.
still actually never seen that match.
Wow, there you go. All right. I think on significance, and Chris, one day you'll be able to co-sign this when you ever get round to it. But Bob and Oracle, I think you'd agree with me, right? That probably should be next. It feels
Yeah.
like it's. By the way, folks, like the video, right, Bob? What should they do to the video?
Smash it like button.
What should they do at the video, Bob?
I love the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. He's
Of course, I can't
just
get
great
my
worker.
thumb in the camera, but when I hit my
What
mouth,
would
I'm sure that was pleasant to hear.
it was fun. It's been a great night for Mike's. What would you go Becky Sasha next, Oracle?
I really like that match. That match is very, very good. I think that's the best women's cell match ever.
The ones I've got noted here are Becky Sasha, Taker Batista, Taker Edge, Taker Orton, Taker Triple H, Nash Triple H, Jeff Hardy and Randall Orton, Bray Roman and the Armageddon. Do any of those jump out as being clearly above the rest? Any of them?
Even though I think the Armageddon match is great, I don't think it's a classic like some say.
Yeah.
I think that match is like a unique sort of. That's the
And
second
it should,
thing I think of when I think of the cell match is that match because I remember seeing that
Yeah.
show live as a kid and like
one of one. Yeah.
being enthralled.
You
with
know,
it.
the star power is what
Yeah.
that match is
Mhm.
about.
So if we want a real complete list here, we could go Armageddon because it's a one of one novelty.
Mm-hmm.
We could go Becky Sasha because it's the best of the women's cell matches, which have the Sasha Charlotte one always frustrated me because I feel like it could have been really special and it just sort
Could
of
have
falls
been, and they
apart.
just overbooked it and like
Yeah.
there's
I think
something
we should-
that's like incredible, but like I just
It was like they were trying to make up for lost time in one match. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the first one. We need to cram all this stuff in it.
Yeah. It was like 3 different matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to make the executive call. That's our 8 seed to show some love to the women. That match is awesome. Becky and Sasha, that is not the Charlotte match.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 spots left, and we have on our board we have Taker Batista, Taker Edge, Taker Orton, Taker Triple H. We have Nash Triple H, Jeff Orton, Bray Roman, and that's our shortlist as of right now. Any of those?
No Triple
we
H
need to get
Mankind,
into.
huh? Or Triple H Cactus.
Cactus, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that needs to be on there.
Oh,
there are
fuck.
people
That-
such as the great Contrarian Alex, who's not a fan of that match.
He's not a fan of that match, but he has a burner in our chat. So was it? Cactus
I
and Triple H should
also,
have been higher.
like. I feel like the Triple H Foley one should be in here. I also think, just to throw a guy a bone, that Triple H Nash match does deserve to be some.
It
I
does.
think it's the most underrated so much ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we close our top 10 out with Kevin Nash purely just for the sake of branding? And it's more fun than us doing like Taker and Edge. Like, what's the difference? There's
Yeah.
the 10 seed, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Official late night Grin. Hell in a Cell standings. Go as follows. In at 10, Kevin Nash and Triple H. In at 9, Cactus and Triple H. Becky and Sasha at 8. Armageddon at 7. Cody and Seth at 6. Batista and Richard Flair at 5. No, not Batista and Ric Flair. Batista and Triple H. I typed Ric Flair. I was saying he was doing Ric Flair cosplay. I literally typed Richard Flair. Triple H and Batista. 4 New Day Usos. 3 Mankind Undertaker. 2 Undertaker Brock Lesnar. And at 1 Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I don't think that's right, but I'm happy with it. That's the best we could do.
Sounds good.
All right. let's get this Alex propaganda bullshit off the screen. Andy, final super chat here. Take us home. Speaking of New Day, are you guys interested by their current storyline? Also, what did you guys make of the second Brock Taker sandwich? Two good questions. Firstly, I'm very interested in the New Day story. I think some of the best stuff they're doing. Very happy for those guys. Again, something interesting to do. Something substantial to do. I think they're killing it. So I think it's been very good thus far. I think we all were into that, right? It's been good stuff on Raw.
Agreed.
I think the second Brock Taker match is like kind of underrated in that Taker really had no right to have a match that fun.
Yeah, he did.
It's the weird deal where he's like a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a heel, isn't he? It's strange.
Yeah, because he wins SummerSlam because he kicks him in the dick and then turns heel. And it's a good match. It's obviously not as good as the first one. It's 13 years later. But it's a lot of fun.
What is like the lore behind why that match happened? Like, what was they? Like, why did Taker come back for like a random summer program with Brock Lesnar? Like, what was the deal with that?
I guess
Had to get his win back, brother.
Yeah, I mean, he had to get his win back, and the Mania match was terrible.
Yeah, so it was like right and a wrong.
I guess so.
Let's have a look what cage match go that. Bob filtered it.
Okay. Quick college football note: Kyle McCord threw 63 passes tonight.
Awesome.
Who won that crazy
That's
game?
a lot.
I had it on, but I forgot to see who
Yeah, they
won.
won 41 in overtime.
Who won?
This guy,
Syracuse.
Syracuse, Ole Miss. Seriously, guys. SummerSlam 2015 got 4 stars from Dave and a 7.79 on the cage match. And the second cell got an 8.26 on cage match and 4.25 from Dave. These matches feel like entirely. Does anyone talk about them? Other than the spot where they sit up next to each other? Those matches are like the best matches Taker has as an old man, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he just retire then? He would have been great.
He was very good in 2015. Those matches were. I was at the Survivor Series when they beat the shit out of the Wyatts. That was actually fun live. Even though we were like all sitting there, we were like, man, the Wyatts should have had like some offense in this fucking match.
Yeah. Well, because they kidnapped him for a month, and then Taker and Kane just showed up and just beat him pretty much.
Like I remember the there was a spot where Braun got like double choke slammed to the table or something, and like Dylan and I were sitting there, and Dylan was like, "Man, Braun should have just sat up, like Taker and Kane right there. That would have gotten him way over." He was right too.
He's right. If it helps, they would have fucked that up too. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The issue with Braun was not getting him over. It was what they did once he got over. Shout out to the big man, by the way. I'm just looking at his cage match here. The Roman Reigns match has a 4. Roman Reigns, not Ramon Reigns, has a 4. The Rusev casket match, which we'll remember fondly, has a 4.62. The Triple H match has a 4.65.
I remember that was at Greatest Royal Rumble, but I don't remember it at all.
That was the one where it was Rusev, and then Jericho. It wasn't Rusev. It was going to be Jericho, and then it was like, oh, just kidding, it's Rusev again.
The DX tag has a 0.69 on cage match.
Fair.
The Goldberg match has a 0.56, which is horseshit. I gave it a 4. The Drew McIntyre and Shane tag 7.25.
It's a good match.
He did a gauntlet with Andrade, Bobby Lashley, Eric Rowan, R-Truth, and The Undertaker, and AJ Styles. Sorry, The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, the two-weight cup, whatever it's called.
That has a 2.08 on cage match. So that must have been good. And AJ and The Undertaker has a 7.75, of course, the Boneyard match. This gauntlet match, why was it so bad? Why is it rating so low? Like,
because it sucked. I don't know.
Like, why was it so bad? Like, R-Truth. Okay, R-Truth was like the main character, it appears. He eliminated Andrade and Bobby Lashley. God, that's incredible, isn't it? You wouldn't you just have AJ like run the gauntlet and then get beat by Taker rather than anyway. It's another conversation for another day that will never come, hopefully. All right.
I do have some physical media here. I got the Hell in the Cell 3-disc DVD set.
Wow.
Nice.
From look at that.
That's awesome. See, that's actually it used to be better stuff right there.
Yeah.
Did you guys see my conundrum regarding physical media earlier that I tweeted about? Did you guys see this?
I did see the WrestleMania 36.
What should I do? Yeah, I'll explain for the people. So I wanted to order 2 motion pictures. Batman: The Long Halloween Blu-ray and Watcher Blu-ray. and it came to $19.99, but I needed 20 to get free delivery. And they were selling the Performance Center WrestleMania for like $150 or something. Like ridiculous price. Well, it's cheaper for me to get this show than pay delivery. So I did it, and I took myself into owning this thing. And then they emailed me they've cancelled it, and they haven't got that. They haven't got that WrestleMania. And now I have a severe conundrum, as I'm left pondering, like, did I actually want this, or did I just talk myself into it? Should I now follow through and complete the gimmick, or should I concede and take this as a warning of some kind? Well, there you go. Oracle's giving me a pretty clear
My God.
hint as to what we should do. I mean, maybe I should just, I don't know. Well, there you go. Look at that. Has JBL on commentary, Bliss Cross, the works, bro. Has like a Baron Corbin Elias match. Yeah, I need to follow up on this, I think. All right, did you guys answer the Kofi question? I think so. What was the Kofi question? Probably not in that case.
The New Day question?
Yeah, we like the New Day stuff.
Yeah.
That was what the question was. Yeah, we like the New Day stuff. If there's a question we missed, feel free to pick it while we do plugs. All right, Bob, any final words, any plugs, any promotions, and also tell the people to do the thing to the like button.
Yes, make sure you smash that like button. I don't know when I'll be back. I'd like to do the Grin Along Sunday, but I'm driving back to St. Louis. I don't know when I'm going to be back. So I think next week is Wrestle Dream, so I won't be here for that. We doing a Grin Along next weekend? Are we continuing our ECW stuff? I know we talked about it, but we're going to just do
Next
ECW
week
every
is
month. But yeah,
next week's the AEW pipe, so probably not.
That's fair. Okay, yeah, I don't know when I'll be back, but you'll see me eventually.
There you go, folks. Stay tuned and smash the like button. Things of that nature. All right, Lord Oracle. Anything to promote? Anything to plug before we get out of here?
Join the fellas and friends tomorrow for the Bad Blood Grin Along. Razor Ramon / Scott Hall, Grin Grappler, coming at the end of October. Date and matches still to be announced. Grindication, we're going to put up a poll for that sometime next week.
Yep.
Vote on what we do for Grindication at the end of this month. School of Wrestling, Ruthless Aggression, Obscurities, blah blah blah, whatever I call it.
Whatever I call it.
The ladies of the Ruthless Aggression era this month. We will cover 6 matches from them. Probably towards the end of the month on a Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern sometime. And I think that's about it. Next week's Grin, a week from tonight, will be the Wrestle Dream preview and then a Wrestle Dream watch along, which I intend to be a part of.
Wonderful stuff. There you go, folks. That's the Lord Oracle upcoming events and such, Lord Alfred Hayes style. Chris, what's the latest with the show with Matt and music and moonsaults, all that good stuff? Go for it. Plug away.
Musicandmoonsaults.com every Thursday night around 9 o'clock-ish. My best friend Matt and I, we are live talking wrestling and sports. So last night we talked about all the big AEW news from the week. We gave our little preview of Bad Blood, and then talked about the Lions and the Yankees. So yeah, check that out. Tomorrow I got a base cover. I don't even remember which one it is, but 3 p.m. go to the channel. There'll be a new base cover up. And yeah, that's about it. I'll be probably back whenever Crown Jewel, whenever that is, for that preview.
Sounds good to me, bro. All right, there you go, folks. Please support Chris. Some plugs. As mentioned, tomorrow night, Bad Blood Grin Along. Sign up on the Grinner Circle tier and above. Tune in for that live. Not going to be a big lineup for that. It may just be myself and Brainbuster. I think Caden's going to be there for a little bit, but we're going to be hanging out. It's not that late of a show, and it's only a 5-match show, so that'll be fun. Probably a breezy watch. If you don't love the current WWE commentary, we may be able to assist you. If you do like it, then I don't know, probably no use for you. You know,
Oracle, we didn't talk Joe Tess.
Oh, Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Should we wait? But that means then that we have that as a crown jewel. Like that could be because I can't do another hour of me being washed to start the next show. So we can it's kind of perfect, right? We need stuff up our sleeve, guys. Let's be honest. We did a 10 Hell in a Cell list to even fill out this runtime. It's very difficult these days, right? We're like, folks, we're advertising it now. Crown Jewel preview, Joe Tessitore talk coming your way. Lock in for that. Prepare your opinions, right? So that's coming up. Okay, tomorrow, Bad Blood. Sunday, I announced this on Gold, but I'll do it here for those of you watching on the channel. Sunday, for It Used to Be Better tier members on LNG Gold, Ibu is going to be joining Novi and myself for a Saturday night's main event, Grin along, which will be very, very fun. Next week, I'm trying to think of anything special next week other than the thing I'm about to get to. I don't know if there's anything in particular, so I'll just say this. Caden Lee of The Dance brings it up. On Thursday, he and Novi will be having a new program on this very platform. They're going to be reviewing the first AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing 2019, which feels like a lifetime ago. So tune in for that. That's going to be a thing that's going to be on the LNG channel moving forward. We'll ramp up promotion a little bit and kind of. I think the time is 8 Eastern, but that's Thursday. Also, support our friends at the Graps podcast tomorrow. They're doing Cage Match Chronicles, which is like a kind of spin of the Grin Grappler show. If you like Grin Grappler, check that out. Support those guys. The Graps podcast. I think that 100 plugs is about everything. I think the Contrarians, all that stuff. Just everyone who's in this 40-man roster now. Show them some love. But Thursday, Caden Lee and Novi with their AEW throwback program. All right, folks. This has been the Late Night Grin. Next Friday on the flagship, we'll be previewing the Wrestle Dream. I will not be on that show. We're experimenting next week, but I will not be on that show. So if it fucking sucks, it ain't my fault. I'm trying my best here, all right? So next Friday, Wrestle Dream preview. I will not be there. Hopefully you will be. Tune in for that. Most importantly, beyond any of this business, we want you to keep grinning. Have a wonderful weekend. Whatever it is you're watching, wherever it is you are liking or disliking the world of professional wrestling, whether you like wrestling TV or you're washed like I am, regardless, we want you to keep grinning and most importantly, enjoy this outro. Also, leave comments, guys. That helps us out.
Yep.
Leave a comment or something. Comment like your match. Comment your Hell in a Cell list or your wrestling TV. I don't know, guys. Do a comment, please. It helps us out a lot. Right. Enjoy this outro. Enjoy this outro, folks. Have a great night. Goodbye.